what's going on, guys? Welcome to another podcast here with Driven 2. And today we have, as always, we have very special guests on these podcasts, but we have a very special guest who goes back, I'm going to say, 10 plus years at this point?
Definitely.
Yeah. So 10 plus years. I met him also through the car community. I don't even really recall how. Maybe we'll get into that in a second. Hey, everyone. Welcome, Ahmad.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Driven 2 family. How's it going today?
We're waiting for you guys to reply. But yeah, man. So you know what? Let's just get right into it. Okay. You know, these podcasts are laid back. We don't need to get all professional and stuff. Do you recall how we met?
I think throwing it back, we were talking about cars. We had the E36 with the Racket Club. We had the Slam District. We were linking up on a photo shoot with Simpson, Emmanuel. And so we got together one afternoon and we kicked it, and it was a vibe, and we just kept it going after that.
Nuts. That's right. Yeah, and Racket Club. Shout out Ben Namitz.
Ben.
Remember Ben?
Mm-hmm.
Our Ukrainian/Russian friends. Yeah, I unfortunately think Racket Club died, but that would also bring us to then the club, if you want to call it that you started back in the day, which I'm really hoping you bring back eventually, and that's Slam District. So when I had Andrew on, he brought it up, and I totally forgot to talk about it. So now's the perfect time. Go ahead and tell everyone, what was Slam District?
So Slam District was a car club organization where our goal was to always do mega events, dope events, something different than what the community has seen with a greater cause. So like we started it with a bunch of us young guys in the garage, and we were just working towards getting some cool cars, modding them, making them like the best of the best, pushing that standard. I remember we went to like all the big top shows, Stance Nations, and we got featured on all these cool pages, and it just kept getting better and better. So when we started to do our shows, we did a Toys for Tots event. We did a Cars for Cancer drive. That was amazing. One of our good buddies.
Alex. Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. We had a wonderful show with him, and I remember like yesterday we designed some cool shirts, and we were selling it just to contribute in any way. So we made a whole culture vibe off of that. That was really cool.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I forgot that you actually threw that. And I'll throw up some pics right now, guys, of that. That was back when I had an E36 M3.
Yep.
And did you bring the RX-7 or the...
It was 4th of July. We had the white, red, and blue RX-7.
That's right.
Iconic.
All right. So, that's a little bit on Slam District. And let's also talk about the cars that you started building back then when you started Slam District, because I can tell you right now with confidence, I'm pretty sure you had one of the most viral / well done S2000s to do it at the beginning. Over the years, obviously, a lot of people started to build them and do crazy stuff, but I feel like you were probably one of the first people to actually lay frame with the S2000. Didn't you cut into the frame to sit?
So, quick story. I was in New York. My great friend, good buddy, John Inshallah, J6 Garage, he was like, why don't you bring the S2000 up? We'll put it on airbags. And I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. I'll get it here tomorrow. I was like, no. He books the transporter, gets it over there. We bring it out, notch the frame, goes viral across all the pages with the fenders off, became a trend. We started a trend. Who did it better kind of thing, back and forth. Brought the car back over here. And then I remember Clay had just done the wide body for me, and we started to hit it everywhere. We went to like Canopy, Stance Nation, all the cool events, and yeah, it was recognized as the lowest body laying frame S2000 in the world.
Yeah, and what year was that?
That was, that was like 2013, 14, 15 era. It was, yeah. So that was a cool build, long process, very important part of my life. I mean, it did build me up, made me raise the standards a lot, and feel good about it. It was fun.
And the best part is you still have that car.
I still have that car.
Yeah, so the video that goes with this podcast is actually going to be shot with that S2000 that, in my book, is honestly an iconic car back in like the Stance community originally. So check that video out, which we'll be making shortly after this podcast. But yeah, then moving on from that S2000, you also got a red RX-7 FD, right?
So the red FD RX-7, another cool story on that one. It's like, these things just somehow fall into my lap. I was leaving the neighborhood, cutting here in the garage on a Friday. I saw the car underneath the cover. I thought it was a Corvette. I said, told my friend Andrew, I said, I'm going to approach the owner, try to figure out what's underneath the cover. And what do you know? The guy pulls the cover off later on that day, and it was an RX-7. So I'm like, whoa, those are rare. They're exclusive. I want to see if he's going to sell it. And we made a deal. We bought it, pushed it from the front of the neighborhood to the back. And that was a whole build. Rebuilt the motor, got it running, enjoyed it. Took it to a couple shows. You and we went out to Tampa a few times.
Yep.
I still own it. It's in New York. It's with my friend John right now, J6. And I was starting to go with a full build on that. And the parts are so expensive right now. Literally, it was cheaper to buy a whole car. So in the process, I picked up a white 95 right-hand drive RX-7.
So that's how you got that one. Okay, I was wondering what the deal was with that.
So probably transfer some parts and focus the build on the white one.
So it'll be like so you're going to make the red one a donor car and then put the parts from that to the white one?
Not everything. I want to keep the red stock, nice clean stock, like a symbolic iconic car, and then the white one more like tastefully modded, like how we do.
Okay, so you're definitely going to keep both, though. You're not just like junking one after.
Not junking, but it maybe for sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, honestly, that would be sick if I bought that, because I've not really ever owned any sick JDM cars. So
you've always had nice Beamers.
It's been, BMWs before that, Audi before that, Volkswagen, the usual Euro trajectory, right? Next is Porsche, and then so on. But okay, so RX-7, and then that was around the time when I think I moved to San Diego shortly after that, because then I don't recall kind of keeping up with your car builds and whatnot. So then you moved to a G-Wagon. You bought a G-Wagon as well?
So yeah, I was I had the cars. Those were fun. Those were in my younger years going through college, and that's exactly what I wanted. It helped me to like achieve more. It was like a sense of accomplishment. I was cutting here. From cutting here, I always wanted to enter into real estate, and from a young age, I always wanted to like set the bar higher for myself. So I was looking between the Porsche GT3 RS. I remember I was driving them and testing them out, and very close to wanting to get one. How attainable was it at that time? I don't know, but in my mind, it was like already there. So I was driving the GT3, and then right after I drove the GT3 RS, and the difference is so great. It's like you cannot compare both cars together. Phenomenal. I mean, the GT3 RS hugs the turns, hugs the curves, really just goes whole monster. I think a car rally that you and I went to one time, they had a guy with a white GT3 RS. I don't know if you recall. There was a bunch of Lambos, and then him. It was at the gas station in Claremont.
Yeah, kind of ringing a bell, I think.
That's the car. So I drove that car. Literally, I thought about it, and right after I went to Mercedes. I went to compare. They had the AMG GT. They had the G63 AMG. And at the time, the G63 was a more logical thing to do, because getting into real estate, it gives you that perception, that image, and helps clients instill trust and show a sense of accomplishment. So I had a great guy over there. He said, look, dude, just put a deposit. If you don't want it, I'll refund you. I was like, can you do that? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just if you don't want it, I'll refund you. You'll sell it the next day. You'll make some money, but just do it. Whatever you do, just do it. So something told me it was a better choice at that time, and I listened, and I did so. Waited 18 months for that thing.
And what year was that? Because I know that was well before the car market blew up, so you bought at a killer time.
That was in 19, I would say, 2019. Insane. I had put it down. I literally, at the time, I wasn't doing a lot of deals, but I always had like this growth mindset, like one day I'll do so, just keep doing it and trust the process. So in return, I come back from like New York, and I get a call from a strange number. The lady's like, "Hey, your car is here," and I was like, "My car is here? What car? I don't know what car. Like, it's been so long, I didn't think it was happening anymore."
Yeah.
And the car market was blowing up at that time too. And she sends me the pictures, and I was like, "My car is here. It's here." I said, "Okay, give me a few days, a day or two. Let me get myself prepared, and I'll come over there." Normally, you'd be excited,
Right.
but I was like, not
Just
intimidated, but like, yeah, I was like, dude, now it's here. Like, I have to literally, I committed, and now it's time to execute. And so I went over there, and I've been working for that for the last 2 years. So it was cool once I got there and being able to drive off with it and enjoy it and so on and so forth.
Did
so
they raise the price on you when you bought it?
no, they
Oh,
locked me in. I got so lucky.
Lucky, because you know how many stories there are about people who lock in a car and then, you know, a couple months later even, they're like, "Oh, okay, it's actually going to be 40K more than what we told you."
Yeah, no, those, they were selling, I remember the minimal over was 25K, 30, 40K, but I got
Nice,
super
dude.
lucky. Yeah, on that one.
So, yeah, funny enough, we were supposed to, well, I was planning on having us shoot with the G-Wagon as well, and you sold that car, what, like a week ago?
I just sold it. Yeah, we just sold it a week ago. The value was great. You know, it's like it came up so much. It just made a lot of sense. And the way everything is, I just wanted to kind of liquidate and start over.
Yeah,
again.
well, hey, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you got a killer sell on it, so I would do the same thing. And now,
I miss it.
I bet you do, but now as we talked about, GT3 RS might be in the works.
GT3 RS is something that, yeah, I would definitely want to go and get. These days, I do like the Ferraris.
Which one?
The other day I drove the 296, and it has everything the GT3 RS had and more. Technologically, it's there. Everything. It's nice.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not a great car because, of course, I'd be all over it too. But I'll tell you what, from what I've been hearing nonstop lately, funny enough, is the Porsche community as a whole is one of the best car communities there is. I just, from my understanding, not owning a Porsche, you know, people say like the Porsche people, or Porsche owners, are some of the most like just down to earth, genuine car enthusiasts and actually purists for the most part too. Not just here to be flashy and say, "Hey, I drive a Ferrari, I drive a Lambo." They actually enjoy driving cars, right? And I feel like you're on that level of like, you don't just get a car to show off; you get a car to actually enjoy what it's meant for.
I love to drive the cars. I love to handle them and accelerate. But Porsche is, I think, top notch in a driver's car.
Yeah, it's either choice you make, I'm sure, is going to be incredible. But
the thought behind the Ferrari is that it's like the guy explained it in a way where sometimes it just makes a lot of sense. He's like, you buy into Ferrari, it's like buying into Rolex, and you buy into a community. And I said, okay, that makes sense. So in a business standpoint, it made a lot of sense to do that because of the exposure. And so I was thinking about that. But again, for Porsche has always been my number one, just because the timeless designs they choose and all that they have to offer.
I get that reasoning too, though. I definitely do. So let's back up a little bit now too, because we've kind of gone down the timeline of your cars, right? So this is present day, guys. He's sold the G-Wagon. He still has the two FDRX7s. He has the S2000. You have anything else? No, that's it for now, yeah. And in terms of business, so when I originally met you, you were cutting hair, and you said one of your goals or aspirations and dreams was to ultimately open up a barbershop, correct?
Yeah.
And congrats, you did that, man. I mean, not even, I think, 2 years into knowing you, you opened up a super dope barbershop in Winter Garden for anyone that lives here in the Orlando, Florida area. Awesome little barber shop, and I wanted to showcase that today too. But go ahead and explain the come up and how you got the barber shop and where it is now and what's going on with it.
So pretty much on the barber shop, I remember we had moved from New York, and it was hard to get a good haircut. And so I had went to the barber. My barber, I remember that the prices had raised, and everything was just, it was not worth the value, quality, such like that. It was tough times and such. So I remember my mom, she had gave my brother a haircut with some Walmart machines, and she did a great job. So I said, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. And I like kind of compared it to art, the barber told me like using the clippers is like using a pencil and tracing out and such like that. So I remember really going all in on cutting hair, cutting my friends' hair. From one, it became 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. And I started in the garage with the cars, with the barbering. Saved up a lot from the garage. Then code enforcement came, and they were like, "You can't run a business out of your garage.
Oh wow!
So you need to do something about this."
Did a neighbor snitch on you?
The neighbors did.
Damn, bastards! You should have gave them a haircut.
That's why they were like, "Why are all these people leaving with so good haircuts?" Or, they run a business. So I actually went to go to the barber shop that was down the block from me, and at first they didn't really like that I was doing this. So I approached them and I started. They opened their shop. They opened arms to me. I went there, worked for a bit, and my goal was always to open a barbershop. So in 2013, 2014, my aunt, who's just very close to me, like my second mom, she had gotten cancer, and that was the first time I've ever had someone close to me have such thing happen to them. So she went literally from 200 pounds to 60 pounds, and
wow.
I couldn't concentrate. That was like what you would say a defining moment in life. So I evaluated everything I had going, and I was a little torn. Like I wanted to do something greater for humanity, not just myself. Like at that point, I had the cars, I had saved up a lot with cutting hair. Like I was gonna, I had my business goals, but it was like, what am I doing for others, not myself? Like these are selfish goals, and it caused me to think that I should pursue like the medical field, or like do something greater just to help people, and especially with her case. So pretty much, she would listen to me. I promised her a bunch of goals, which was one, opening a barbershop, and she ended up passing away.
Sorry to hear that.
I appreciate that. And so from that point on, it really motivated me to fulfill my promise. And so I opened the barbershop, and that was so beautiful. I realized that in life, you have to do what you find true happiness in and with, because in any and every field, there's someone successful in that field that makes it and makes the money that you're thinking about, or the resources and influences. So finally, I opened the barbershop. That was, great story. I was looking for a spot for so long, Alex. And I remember I was scouting on a Sunday, and I found a place and literally called him up. He didn't answer. So I just go to my little corner, and I made a little prayer. Oh, God, like help me, make it easy for me. It's a little tough right now. Just make it easy. I call him again after an hour or so, like I was sincere about it. And he pulls up to the spot. He's like, I can meet you in 5 minutes. He pulls up, and his license plate says, "Prayer changes everything." And I was like, this is not a coincidence right now,
Mm-hmm.
So we signed the lease, got the barbershop going, threw a bunch of car events there too.
Super cool.
Enjoyed those moments, did some nice gatherings with friends and family. You were there. I think you came visited us when you were visiting back Orlando. So that was cool. And that was the barbershop. So
yeah, we'll throw some pics up of that too, because you did a great job renovating it, and it looked great. And why I'm gonna say towards the end it looked perfect is because you just recently sold that as well, just like the G-Wagon, correct?
Yeah. So the barbershop, it was something that I've always wanted to do, and I made it really throwback, retro themed, checkered floors, 1920s, 30s, and 40s barber chairs, the really sturdy ones, and just like a boutique shop is what I always wanted. I just sold it. It made a lot of sense to transition out of it. It was my college passion, hobby, and it just comes to a point where you have to recognize when it's time to let go. So it was finally the time to do that.
Good for you, man. And do you still have some of the barbers that you originally brought on working there with the new owner?
I did. Yes, the new owner has them working with them as well.
Are you friends with the new owner by any chance? Is it like someone that you know?
It's actually the guy who used to work for me.
Oh, perfect.
And
That's
so
awesome.
pretty much I told him, like, I would love to see you continuously win, and why not pass the opportunity on to someone that you know.
That's great. So at least you know it's in good hands, because I know it's tough when you build up a business and it's your baby essentially, and then you're, it's like giving your baby up for adoption type deal, right?
It sure is.
So
Thought about it for a long time.
I bet, man. But congrats, seriously. It's
Thank you.
incredible seeing, my friends who I grew up with just shooting the shit and hanging out in parking garages, make it to something so incredible. So yeah, okay, you sold the barbershop and now you're fully transitioned into real estate, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your, let's say, 3 to 5 year plan with that? What's your ultimate goal? Because I know you're killing it in real estate. I've been following you on social media for years, even when I lived in San Diego, and I saw you just one after another, killing it with selling homes, listing homes, and you've also been buying homes, correct? You
Correct.
have investment properties. So tell us a little bit about that. You go and find what fixer-uppers, gut them, redo them, and sell them?
Pretty much, the cutting here was supposed to be like a means to real estate, and I wanted to use that cash money to buy into it. And the market was really low back in 2012, 2013, 2014. So that's the time period where I was looking into it. But it's always scary to do something for the first time. So my buddy who actually backed the S2000, John, I remember I had just first found my first deal, which I had a mentor on. He guided me, which was very important in my life also. And in doing so, I couldn't put together the funds. So I was trying to figure out what to do. John's like, hey, I have my life savings. Do you want it? I was like, no. Like, why do I? He's